We are live. Hey, 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 ladies, professional women who want to up level your leadership, who want to operate at a high performance level. This is for you. Come on in, come on in. I'm going to activate my comment section so I can hear you. How are you? This is day three. How exciting is that? It is day three of 7 tips of a high performance life. And I'm excited to be here. I am excited that you could join me. Come on in and let us talk about what makes you a high performing individual. How can you balance high performance both at work and in your personal life and just be the best version of you and live your life to the fullest? Come on in, come on in, come on in. So, in the last 2 days, we've talked about the first 2 tips, and today we're going to tip number 3. I see you. Thank you for joining. Let me know where you're watching from and drop your questions and comments in the comment section for me. So, day one, we said set crystal clear goals. Okay. Make sure your goals are crystal clear. Day number 2, we said connect through effective communication. Most high performers, every high performing person I know, and I dare say you know, is an excellent connector. They communicate, they engage with their team, and they engage with anyone with whom they are interacting. And it makes the person feel as if they're the only ones in that environment. That is very, very key to making a person feel like they're connecting with you, and it helps your performance. Number 3, today we are talking about prioritizing, resting, and recharging. I'm going to put that up on my banner here. Prioritizing, resting, and recharging. So, what does that mean for you? What comes to your mind immediately you hear me say, to be a high performing person and a well-balanced individual, you need to prioritize rest and recharging. Drop for me in the comment section what that immediately brings to your mind. Watching out for your comments here. What does that bring to your mind when you hear me say you need to prioritize rest and recharging? Abraham Lincoln is famously quoted to have said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe." Wow. That tells me directly, immediately, that taking breaks will actually increase your productivity. Isn't it like ironic that if you stop to break, if you stop to refresh, if you stop to recharge, you can actually do more? So, performing at your optimum does not mean being on the go 24/7. Absolutely not. It actually means just knowing yourself, being self aware. Remember, on day one, we were talking about self mastery. So, part of self mastery is knowing yourself so well that you understand your own body and its limits. Thank you again for joining. I am so glad you're here. Drop for me in the comment section where you're watching from. Today is day 3 of 7 tips to a high performing life, and we are talking about prioritizing, resting, and recharging. So, I'm going to tell you a quick story. The story is told of 2 woodcutters. They were both famous in the city where they lived. We're just going to call them John and Peter, okay? And both of them were known to be very famous for cutting a lot of wood in a day. They were supposed to be the 2 best woodcutters in the city. So they got competitive one day and they decided, hey, we go to the wood at the same time. We start cutting wood in the same area. And at the end of the day, we'll see which of us is actually the better woodcutter. You know, bragging rights. The boat went in on that morning and each one started to swing at the trees. Every now and then, John noticed that he could not hear any chopping sound from Peter. And he giggled to himself and he said, Peter is tired. Well, I better keep chopping because at the end of the day, I'm going to have more trees than him. And that continued to happen throughout the day. At the end of the day, cut the long story short, John was really, really shocked to find out that Peter had significantly more in terms of number of trees he had cut down than himself. And he was puzzled. He said, "But how is that possible? Because I heard you stop throughout the day, but I didn't stop. I just kept on chopping. How come you have more trees than me?" Peter smiled and answered very simply. He said, "Every time I stopped cutting, I took the time to sharpen my axe." What am I saying? When you take the time to sharpen your axe, when you take the time to refresh, when you take the time to recharge, you can actually come back with a more powerful force. Every time you come back with a sharpened axe, the blow to the tree is much deeper than if you just kept hitting at the tree with a blunt axe. So most people are just too busy going through life and just doing things and being distracted throughout the day. The world is so busy now that if you allow yourself to get drawn in, it doesn't take very much to become overwhelmed. So it's very hard for us, all of us, to take time to renew ourselves, to learn to grow. So if you want to become a high performing individual, this is my tip number 3 for you. Begin to identify those things that dull your axe. Is it tiredness? Is it that at the end of the day you're feeling drained? You're feeling exhausted every day? Take the time to reset. Take the time to recharge. And that is how to sharpen your axe. That for you can mean getting enough sleep, taking a moment throughout the day to just give your brain a break. Walk around the block, just step away from your laptop for a couple of minutes, take a coffee break, something, whatever it is that helps you clear your mind. But do something every time you take a break, every time you stop to refresh, every time you stop to recharge, you have to clear your mind for everything work related. Get some fresh air. If you can do it outdoors, the better. Take a vacation, take a staycation, but keep your mind off work when you're doing that. You will find that when you get back to it, you're ready to tackle whatever comes your way. That is called balance, people. And it is tip number 3 for becoming a high performance individual. Okay, I'm still looking out for your comments. Any questions for me today? Thank you for joining. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you have any comments or contribution, I will love to read it. You can DM me if you're more comfortable with that. I'm looking at doing a workshop right after this 7 days of going live. So the topic will be a half-day workshop on 7 tips to a high-performing lifestyle. So if that's something that interests you, drop me a comment or DM me. I'll send you the link to register. We're going to spend a half day just walking through workbooks to personalize what is it in your particular issue, in your unique situation that you need to work on to begin to prioritize how to make your life highly effective and how to balance work and life effectively. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to reading from you. It can be in the DM, it can be in the comment section here. I'll be back at the same time tomorrow talking about tip number 4. Unless you have any questions for me, I like to keep this sweet and sharp and will only stay for as long as I need to answer your questions. Otherwise, I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Make sure you join me. I'll send out a broadcast as well. You take care. Cheers.